Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today I am giving the top 3 best MLB Wildcard games of all time. Now, before I share you what I think are the best Wildcard games, feel free to share what you think are the best Wildcard games down below in the comments. And I am doing a whole bunch of other baseball-related content these next few days, because tomorrow I'm doing a top 5 division series of all time. In 2 days, I'm doing the top 10 championship series of all time, and then in 3 days I'm doing the top 15 World Series of all time. But anyways, let's start with my number 3 for the best wildcard game of all time, and that is the 2024 wildcard game 3 between the Brewers and the Mets. This game was just remarkable. It started off as just a pitcher's duel, and then late in the game, I believe it was the bottom of the 7th inning, the Brewers hit back-to-back homers. And then came the 9th inning. The Mets were down to their final 3 outs, top of the order, against the Brewers' best reliever at the time, Devin Williams. And he got 1 out, but also there was a runner on first and third. Then Pete Alonso came up, and at the time this could have been his last MLB at-bat for the Mets. He then hit a 3-run homer for the Mets to take the lead, and it just barely went over the fence. And then the Mets would end up winning that game, and they ended up making it very far to the NLCS Game 6, which I was actually at the NLCS Game 6. Obviously, they lost to the Dodgers, and then the Dodgers ended up winning the World Series. However, that was still a great wildcard game, great series, and I think that was a great playoff run by the Mets. However, these top 2 wildcard games, the winner made it to the pennant both times. And at number 2, I have the 2014 wildcard game between the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals. And this game was just remarkable. The Oakland A's were leading 7-3 early in the game, and then throughout the game the Royals were slowly coming back, and then they tied in the 9th, and then just went on to 12 innings. Then Salvador Perez hit a walk-off single in the bottom of the 12th to send the Royals to the division series, and they made it all the way to Game 7 of the World Series, losing to San Francisco Giants, who also were a wildcard team that year. However, this game was still amazing. It was a great comeback for the Royals, who then went on an improbable run. And, without this improbable run, who's to say that they would have won the 2015 World Series? Because they definitely learned a lot from this run. But yeah, this wildcard game was amazing, and it is the second best of all time. But the best wildcard game of all time, for me, without question, is the 2019 wildcard game between the Washington Nationals and Milwaukee Brewers. This game was just remarkable. From early on in the game where Max Scherzer gave up a 2-run home run in the first and then a solo home run in the second. So the Nationals were already losing 3-0 after 2 innings. But then Trey Turner hit a solo home run in the bottom of the third. They were still losing 3-1. And then Steven Strasburg, who was a starting pitcher, came in relief in the 6th, and he pitched 3 innings of no run. However, the Nationals were down to their final 6 outs against the Brewers' best reliever at the time, Josh Hader, and he struck 2 of the first 3 batters out and walking the other. However, the Nationals then had a pair of clutch hits, and Anthony Rendon game walked, and then Juan Soto came up with the bases loaded, and then he hit a single. However, the right fielder Trent Grisham made an error, and that was probably only going to score 2 runs. Instead, it scored 3. And then, Soto got tagged out trying to go to third. However, it didn't matter because they went from losing 3-1 to winning 4-3. and then they eventually won the game, and then eventually, for the first time in their team history, won the World Series. That was an amazing run by the 2019 Nationals. Obviously, they're not a good team right now. However, in 2019, they were very fun to watch, and that was an amazing wildcard game. So that is, in my opinion, the best wildcard game of all time. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share what you think are the best wildcard games down below in the comments. And don't forget to vote for the top 10 pitchers of all time. Link is down below in the comments for the fan voting. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.